Look, unfortunately for America, the court isn't necessarily wrong that this is the way the framers wanted it to be.
What do you all think of this? I mean, is anybody surprised by this decision?
No, and I actually think it was the right decision to make, because it would have, if Colorado had been allowed to do that, we'd have this chaotic sort of process where you have 50 states and some are choosing to put him on the ballot and some are choosing not to.
What's happening, people? Buzz here. So the left is losing their mind, obviously, because the Supreme Court has just ruled that Donald J. Trump can stay on the ballot. Colorado lower courts tried to say that he can't for an insurrection on the 14th Amendment, which it doesn't hold. That does not hold a cup of water. It holds nothing. It has nothing to do with Donald J. Trump's January 6th apparent attack. Now, whether you want to call it insurrection or an overtake of a government or whatever, you call it whatever, it wasn't that, because no one went up there with guns. There was no army. It was just a protest that went out of hand. Now, Donald didn't say go and attack. He did none of that. He said protest peacefully, yada, yada, yada. We know how it goes, right? We all know how it goes. We've seen the footage, the thousands of hours of footage of those people out there getting, bombed with pepper spray, getting shot at. A lady got killed. We've seen it. Anyway, let's take a look at this, because The View and CNN is losing their mind. No surprise. CNN host whines major Supreme Court of the United States ruling is not necessarily wrong, unfortunately for America. Yeah, unfortunately for America, that justice actually prevails, right? Right? Am I wrong? Because what exactly did Trump do? He just said peacefully protest. That's what happened. People that get so involved, emotional and stuff, they get a little loud, right? I mean, the left were saying the BLM riots were mostly peaceful, right? Well, the guy was standing in front of a fire. Hilarious. Let's take a look at this video.
Look, unfortunately for America, the court isn't necessarily wrong that this is the way the framers wanted it to be. They wanted Congress, the people who are closest to their constituents, to be able to make the rules and the laws. That doesn't change the fact that because of gerrymandering in the House and all kinds of other issues, they're not doing their job on a lot of these big issues.
Yeah. I agree. It's very unlikely, close to impossible that Congress will take action. But this is now a fair question that Manu Raju, Melanese and Ona should be asking members of Congress. Are you willing to pass legislation that would give us rules for how this works? It could only be in the future, by the way.
Yeah, unfortunately for America. Hilarious. On Monday morning, Supreme Court handed down a massive 9-0 decision overturning Colorado Supreme Court's ruling that kicked Trump off the ballot. In December, Colorado Supreme Court ruled Trump is ineligible to hold office again, citing the clause of the 14th Amendment that prohibits individuals to engage in insurrection after taking an oath to uphold the Constitution from holding office again. Now, what they forget to add on there is that clause was meant for Confederates, right? So they don't go in there as sleeper cells to try to overtake the country for the South. Siri? Siri's watching it. They're listening on me. No, Siri, I don't need your help. Google AI is listening on me, I guess. Hilarious. Yeah, so like I said, the 14th clause is for the, the Confederates. There's more to that than just, keep bad orange men off. Because you don't like someone doesn't mean you can just say, hey, 14th Amendment. Yeah, let's use this to our advantage and we'll let the Supreme Court decide. No, we need to be more just in our thinkings. We need to actually have more critical thinking. Just saying, I don't like the guy because he's a, he's a racist. He's a bigot. He's a what? He's a this. He's a that. Of course, that's what the left loves to do. They love to throw these words at people that hold no meaning. It's crazy, right? Now let's go to The View, because they say some outrageous things. We know that. They just like a whole slew of idiots that just say and do the dumbest things, and they still have a platform on ABC. I was surprised because they actually agreed with the Supreme Court's decision. I was surprised. I was shocked. I was like, what? The View is agreeing that they made the right decision? Wow, hell is freezing over. Take a look at this.
The Supreme Court has just ruled unanimously that Colorado courts cannot keep you-know-who off the state's ballot for engaging in insurrection, finding that a state cannot make a call that could have a national impact on a federal election. Of course, unless it's about a woman's right to choose, but let's not get into that. What do you all think of this? I mean, is anybody surprised by this decision?
No, and I actually think it was the right decision to make because it would have, if Colorado had been allowed to do that, we'd have this chaotic sort of process where you have 50 states and some are choosing to put him on the ballot and some are choosing not to put him on the ballot. So that's why this decision was unanimous in judgment. But if you read the dissent by Justices Sotomayor and Kagan and also Jackson, they are saying the Supreme Court went too far here because they answered a question that wasn't before them. The only question that was before this court was, can a state do this? Instead, what they did was they insulated all alleged insurrectionists from future challenges to their holding federal office. And it is a tenet of Supreme Court law. I am a Supreme Court bar admitted attorney. It says what it does today, the court should have left undone. And we always learn that in law school. The Supreme Court should just answer the question before it. And I have far too much hope that the court would be united in this and not overstep in favor of Donald Trump. And I think what we saw.
Hilarious. Hear that? Did you hear what she said? In favor of Donald Trump. Well, are you crazy? There's nothing to be in favor of Donald Trump when he did nothing wrong. An insurrection? There was no insurrection. Now, these lower courts, they basically had this little PR stunt when they tried to say that he can't be on the ballot and then just wait for the Supreme Court to say, yeah, he can be on the ballot. So let's just got months of this bad publicity for Donald J. Trump until the Supreme Court says that he can be on the ballot. They knew that was going to happen. That's a given. That's the tactics the left loves to use because they know if we can just give this guy a bad rap, the 91 felonies, the $400 million he's got to pay for his Mar-a-Lago and his defrauding case of the banks where there was no victim. The banks loved him. The banks want to continue to work for him. They all made money. That's what they love to do. The left loves to give him a bad rep, a bad name, to tarnish his 2024 election so the people can not vote for him. They were going to vote for Sleepy Joe, right? A man who can barely campaign, could barely have a coherent speech. I doubt that. I highly doubt that it's effective. If anything, it's helping Donald Trump. Everything they're doing is helping Donald because they are losing the middle significantly. That they have to allow illegals to come across the border to vote for Biden. It's crazy, right? Y'all let me know in the comments what you think about this. Like, comment, subscribe to Buzz. See you on the next one.